Tonight, we're turning our attention to the growing problems at the U.S. and Mexico border. Texas officials are taking steps to possibly close a crossing in El Paso. This comes as state police have amped up inspections of every single truck that comes into the country. My next guests are here weighing in on this matter. We have Cesar Espinosa from Fiel, conservative commentator KRIV Imani, and immigration attorney Gordon Kwan. Thank you all for joining us here on The Fact. Gordon, you just left El Paso. You were just there yesterday. What is it like? Do you feel it? Do you see it?
Well, there's a lot of concern there, Isaiah, but I was surprised how the local shelters were really saying, we want to help these people, but we're going to be overwhelmed. We don't know what we can do. I know that the Department of Homeland Security chief was there today, and they're asking the military to get involved with Fort Bliss there, because that's the only place they can house that many people. But I thought it was a compassionate attitude that people has, as opposed to like, get rid of these people, block them out. I think that on the borderland, people understand the interaction between the United States and our Latin American neighbors.
KRIV, did we drop the ball? Did the Biden administration drop the ball, or can we go back to previous administrations?
It's been going on for a long time. And first of all, Isaiah, thank you for the invitation, and thank you for covering this story, which really isn't being covered by regime legacy media at all. Since Joe Biden has taken office, we've had over 4 million people cross the border illegally. The fiscal year of 2023 began on October 1, 2022. In the last not even 2.5 months, we'd have over 500,000 people cross the border illegally. That's more people than the army of China. It has to stop. The fentanyl problem is an issue. We've had over 100,000 people die because of fentanyl overdoses last year. We spent 20 years in Afghanistan because of what happened on 9/11/01, when less than 3,000 people were killed. We need to do some things drastically. I think what happened in El Paso over this past weekend was a demonstration of how toothless Governor Abbott's Operation Lone Star really is.
And for those who are not familiar with what happened in El Paso, explain it to them.
Oh, well, it was an unprecedented incursion, if you will. Those of us on the right call it an invasion, because that's precisely what we feel that it is. Sure, we have compassion for some of these people that are coming over, but it has a deleterious impact on our society and our culture. We call it an invasion because what's the purpose of invasion? Conquest, to take control of your government, your economy, and your culture. Usually the biggest traffic is coming through the RGV sector, down around Brownsville, Eagle Pass, in that area. To see these types of surges in El Paso, where actually the Rio Grande, you can just step over it, really was unprecedented. And now with Title 42 about to expire, the surge is...
For those who don't know what Title 42 is.
Okay, Title 42 dealt with, it was brought in by the Trump administration to try to stem the tide of economic amnesty seekers, which was not the original reason why amnesty was introduced in the first place. It was really intended for, let's say, as an example, the woman in Pakistan the Christian woman in Pakistan that's going to be stoned or something like that. Political and religious amnesty, not economic amnesty, okay? But that's the majority of what's coming across the border right now. And it really has a bad impact on our communities of color that have to compete for these jobs. And it's going to exacerbate the inflation problem, because what you have is a supply issue. You're going to have more people and wanting more goods. It's going to make life harder for us citizens here in Texas, especially.
Cesar Espinosa with Fiel, you help many of these individuals who are coming across the border. Your thoughts on what we're seeing and what KRIV has said?
I mean, so number one, we've always seen an uptick around the end of the year, every year, and that's because people either want to reunite with their families, or they feel that the border is more relaxed around this time. So we've always seen it.
And we're talking about the holidays.
The holidays, yeah. The holiday season. And now these numbers are unprecedented, but there's also things that are happening in the world, like with the economy, global warming, a lot of things that are happening in other countries that are pushing more and more people to migrate. It's funny though how people are quick to scapegoat on immigrants, when during the pandemic, immigrants were the ones that were feeding people, doing a lot of things, and once again, U.S. culture points to those people who are seeking a better life for themselves or when things go awry or whenever they don't find it convenient. So it's really, you know, Governor Abbott has used this. Many people have used this for their own political gain. And at the end of the day, the only solution that we can help to make sure that we don't have this issue anymore is to come to the table, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, everybody, and to figure out a common sense solution so that people can come over. We can continue to fulfill the jobs that need to be fulfilled, and at the same time, be friendly neighbors to everybody, just like they are to us.
Now, Gordon, we're seeing right now the labor industry lobbying Congress, saying, let's get immigration reform done now before the face of Congress change. You know, we could see more Republicans in Congress. They're trying to get more Democrats involved before the deadline run out. Do you think we will see immigration reform? And we've heard about immigration reform forever and ever, and we haven't seen a change as of yet.
You know, I feel like I'm from Missouri. Show me, okay? I'd love to see immigration reform. I've been waiting for immigration reform for 30 years. It seems like there's an effort, you know, bipartisan effort with Sinema and Tillis trying to work something out, saying let's address the DACA students. Let's address the farm workers. We need these people here. You're right. There's 2.2 million workers short in the economy. A lot of that is because of immigration was stifled for many years during the COVID period, where Trump stopped immigration for employment-based cases. He closed the number of the consuls so people couldn't come in. So we're seeing a backlog of people that would have come in, had addressed a lot of these issues, that have not done so now. You know, there's a number of solutions out there, Isaiah. Our Senator Cornyn has also proposed something with Senator Sinema, whereby we would have at least 4 or 5 major processing centers where people could come, have their cases heard, and as Cleaver talks about, figure out who has a legitimate asylum claim, who is just an economic refugee. But they've gotten nowhere on these things. And it's so frustrating as an immigration lawyer because solutions are possible. No. But whether they're going to happen, you know, Christmas is coming soon. I've got my wish list.
We'll see what happens. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here.